Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning,
Good
Tonya.
morning.
Hey, good morning, Joe. And my special guest, and Johnny. And I want to send a special shout out to Good Morning, Mickey. I know I didn't say your whole government name this time. Mickey is my producer who helps me to produce these shows that we do every Saturday, and we do some special shows. Without him, it would not be possible. I am a part of the 810 News Media Group, which helps to get out news and have podcasts so that we make you aware of things that are happening in our city, in our county, and things that are happening around the world. Because today's guest is Joe Scapani. Joe, don't let me mess.
Scapani.
Scapani. See, I had it
You were
right.
doing good. You were doing really good. It's Joe Scapani. Yes,
I know, it's that Benadryl,
just
mate.
like it looks. No,
Listen. Oh, and Johnny, how are you this morning?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. People are going to be surprised when they see all the beautiful things that you did. And Mickey Jordan, Mickey in a whole nother world. Yeah, I just want y'all to know, okay?
Mickey took a Benadryl. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm over here sharing everything, and I was just trying to share it to all the different spots.
This morning was really hard, Mickey. I think we didn't have any tech. Well, listen, y'all. We about on time. So if you are listening out there, can you do me a favor, everybody? Click like, share, and subscribe. And as you are watching, hit the like button. We need those likes. So while you're watching, hit the like button on YouTube and on Facebook, and click like and share. So to start the show, we're going to talk about and have special guests because it's springtime. We got beautiful murals. We're going to get into that. Then we're going to talk about as I'm wearing the lime green shirt, which is Save Historical Oak Park. These individuals have been coming to City Hall. They want Oak Park is Flint's oldest park in the city of Flint, and it's the first park. It was once known as Tent City. Then we're going to talk about the famous, I'm going to say famous, I'm going to say the disappointing ACO, which is the Administrative Consent Order, which is like a book. And I'm going to let Johnny off the phone. I'm going to say off the phone. We're not going to have him on when we get into that because this is not the fun stuff. And he does all the beautiful things which are around here. But to start the show, I want to say, send my condolences and my deepest sympathies to Mother E. Hill Deloney, who passed away and she transitioned. Mother Deloney, you would always see her leading the Juneteenth parade. She talked about African American history, culture, and art. And she actually brought to us Juneteenth and taught the city of Flint about Juneteenth about 57 years ago, well over 50 years ago. So Juneteenth, when it wasn't popular, that as Black people were learning our culture, she was making it popular with the social workers that they talked about it. So my deepest sympathies to Mother Deloney, and this is me and her riding together for um, for Juneteenth one year. And I mean, just a wealth of information and the biggest heart and love. And she will be dearly missed in our community. And again, my deepest condolences to her family. Okay. Oh, yeah. Those are her grandkids. That way we were riding that day. We have Mary Karen Weaver. We have Mother Deloney. We have, those are her grandkids, actually. And this was in the Juneteenth parade. And that baby that was on my lap slept the entire way, just about. And it was
Aw.
out in that parade. She was, look at there. That's not perfect. We're going to transition on. Get it. Joe, that is my favorite picture of you and
I
I.
know. I love that one. It's so cool.
Well, for those who don't know, that picture mural is on the back of the historical Golden Leaf, historical Oak Park. That's the historical Golden Leaf. That mural was painted, and it's Ella Fitzgerald, and it looks like Ella Fitzgerald is taking a bite out of my hair bun.
It does too.
We did not plan that.
Nope.
We did not plan that. But all is good. I believe in saving our historical sites. The Golden Leaf is one of the first Black clubs, social clubs in Michigan that is still open. It's over 100 years old. Over 100 years old. And one thing about the historical Golden Leaf, you have people of all races there. It's black, it's white,
Mhm.
it's young, it's old, it's everything. It's everything. I go usually it would be date night with my dad there. Me and my dad would go have drinks, and you sit out on the porch or in there, and you talk a lot of politics. And if you can handle politics at the Golden Leaf, you good for city council. That was
Oh,
around for me. So let's get into your projects. So Joe, first tell me about yourself. Then Johnny, we'll go into talk with you. And everybody, please click like, share, and subscribe, and like the screen as you are watching. Okay, Joe, tell us about
all
yourself. Who you
right.
are, what do you
Well,
do?
I have been the director of Flint Public Art Project since 2015. Um, before I moved down to Mexico, until I moved down to Mexico. Um, Johnny came to me a few years ago, just during the pandemic, and he's an artist that is also a tattoo artist, canvas artist and tattoo artist. And it's like, I really would like to paint murals. I really like paint. I'm like, okay, here you go. We're gonna meet up, and I'm gonna get some artists together. We're gonna bring some paint. We're gonna let you work on a wall, and we're gonna show you how to do this. And then he started doing it, and then just really started building himself up as an artist. Ever since then, he started off and just kind of took off from there. And now he's doing wonderful things for the community. One of the great things about Flint Public Art Project, and I love about the mural project, is the one of the main purposes of that project was to change the image of Flint from crisis to beauty, because there's so many people in the neighborhoods that are doing such amazing work that it just was being overshadowed at the time by the water crisis, the crime, and everything else. And then slowly after the second year really took off, people started talking about the art in Flint. And, you know, and it just more involved, and I started hearing more about the murals and less about the water. So when artists came to Flint, they would be like, when they first started coming, it's like, how's the water? How's this? How's the crime? Is it safe? Is it da da da? After about October of 2008 or 19, the artists that were coming in to work, and we use local artists too, but the artists coming in that weren't asking about water crisis or crime anymore. They were asking about the art. And, oh, I heard this person here. I heard this person was here. Can I go see this mural too? Can I go da da da? Not only did they want to paint there, but they also wanted to see other artists that have painted there. So it just started really taking off. And one of the big things of this program is just to give back, to show the community that we see what you're doing and we want to promote you, we want to support you, we want to build you up, and we want to give you something beautiful to look at and make you smile every day. So yes, we might have covered a abandoned building, and yes, we know that building's going to go down, but it makes that building look good now until it goes down, because we know how long it takes. I mean, I've lived in Flint long enough to know some of these buildings are probably going to still be there in 10, 20 years. So why do we have to look at an eyesore and have all these people come in and look at the ruin porn of the city, and really, really give the people, overshadow all this work that is being done? You look at the MLK neighborhood, the Frog neighborhood group, all these other groups in the neighborhood, South Side, everywhere. They're just doing such amazing work. And it's just like, this is just a way to put a smile on their face and make their day. And a lot of that is rubbed off on the artists, not just the local, but international also, that want to come here and just do something great for the city of Flint. And Johnny is one of those. It's like, I'll let him tell the story behind that a little bit more about what he was doing this spring, but it's just amazing to see how artists and the community just kind of fall in love with each other. And it's just amazing. And Johnny's a born and raised in Flint kind of kid, so he's been around, so he knows the community already. So I'll let him talk, because I'll talk the whole time. So
Wealth of information. So for people who don't know, there were over what 300, is it 309 murals that were
yeah,
painted underneath that project. and they've become
I think
landmarks.
330 now.
Okay, 330. And so this is the second time you've actually been on talking with Tonya. And these murals are like landmarks. You and I were talking about what the horses. And I'm like, where is
Yep.
the horses at? And I could not remember. And a friend of mine was like, oh no, the horses are on Clio Road next to the
At the
old house.
church.
Now straight right. And so people, they become landmarks where, they'll say, hey, go past this. You've reached there because of the Anthony Bourdain mural or
Yep.
on MLK. So they've become landmarks for people. So Johnny, tell us about yourself.
Hello, I'm Flint born and raised. Uh, I just like going around the world making art. I like making art for my community. It's pretty fun.
Now
So
talk about the rock. Painting the rock this spring, Johnny.
Okay, so yeah, seasons are changing. Getting out of a cold winter, I started painting some pictures on the rock there at Hammerberg Road. I did like some a butterfly and flowers, and like a robin, a bee, and some flowers. Just wanted to make people smile and uplift the community and prepare them for spring, nicer weather.
So the people
So
don't know what the rock is. If you don't know, you have been under a rock. The rock is literally a cement structure that is located on, yep, there, that's it. And it's located on God, is it
12th and
12.
Hammerberg.
12th and Hammerberg, right? 12th and Hammerberg. And people paint on it all the time in beautiful pictures. And even though as beautiful as this is, it has been covered up. I don't know how many years, it's decades they've been painting on the rock, but it's nice to see real artwork that is painted. So describe each picture as he's putting them up. So this one is, of course, that's
That's
a
a
robin.
robin.
And so what inspired you to paint the robin?
Spring, with spring coming, you get to hear all the lovely birds every morning. So I just wanted to paint some nice spring imagery to get people excited about sunny, bright, warm days that are coming instead of the dull winter.
Okay, so and maybe it's just me, and I'm gonna point this out. The birds be up at 4 o'clock in Flint in the city. I'm like, when do the birds get up? And one morning they were up like 3:50, and you hear the birds. So this
It's
was
like,
inspired because of springtime, and the robins. And so you decided to say, "Hey, let me go paint on the rock, and I'm gonna put a beautiful robin." Now, did you paint this from a picture or just from your memory of the bird?
I looked at a photograph.
Oh, can we go back to the robin? So listen, click like and share if you're what we're getting the pictures. Click like, share, and subscribe, and hit the like button if you are watching. If you are watching. Uh-oh. Okay, yeah. Look, a little technical difficulty.
That's all right. We
Just,
can handle that.
just a little. I'm so glad to have both of you here. I really
Yes.
am. And so, Johnny, you said you did decide to paint the robin. What inspired you to paint the butterfly?
I was just looking for, like, again, springtime stuff, and I came across this photo of a butterfly, and I was like, oh, I want to paint that. Just like when I usually look for references to paint, I just pick a picture that jumps out at me. It's like usually there's hundreds of images through the internet scrolling, and then I'll just find one that pops out at me, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna paint that.
Okay. And so there's the butterfly. You were inspired to paint the butterfly because it's springtime, which it is beautiful, and to see that because when you're coming out of winter, it's like everything's like brown. There's no
Yep.
color around. The trees are brown, the grass is brown, everything is brown and dingy. And then there was the rock and springtime with some daisies, okay? And it was really pretty. I don't even know how long that lasted because you painted over it again. And the rock,
Yeah.
which is well known in Flint, that has to have like 10,000 coats of paint on it at this point. But
They scraped it one time,
did they?
and yeah, it was literally the one time I was there, and this is probably around 2015. They scraped a lot of the layers off, and it was like almost like 2 inches thick.
Wow.
And it's like I
Wow.
have a piece of it somewhere of the of the paint, layered
Mhm.
paint. It's just so amazing looking.
'Cause it's a lot of paint that goes on there.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Mickey, let's put up
Tons.
another photo. So you also did, I believe, it was a red robin?
Oh, I did like a
Uh,
cardinal.
No, listen, I said red robin. Listen, it's the Benadryl,
yes.
y'all. No, it's a cardinal. It should be a red one. Well, let's just scroll through them. Well, so that's the butterfly. Then the
Yep.
next was is it the Superman?
Yeah, Superman, but it's for a young man named Gunner.
Yeah.
It was for his birthday.
Oh, okay. So, Mickey, let's go back to the Gunner one, and then we'll go back to that pretty one. That one's pretty. Yeah. So that one is the young. That must be Gunner. Gunner must be 10.
Yep, Gunner turned 10. Gunner was born with heart conditions and had heart surgeries like right out of the rip. And so he's like a little miracle baby. So for his 10th birthday, all he talked about is how he wished he could have, something painted for him on there. So for his 10th birthday, I surprised him with that.
Oh, are you serious? Now
It was
that
pretty
is
cool.
wonderful. So you came up with that. So superhero Gunner, who was 10 years old, who was 5. Oh, and he has a Superman, the S, and you put G for Gunner in there.
Yep.
Oh, I like that. I love that. So let's go to another one. Okay, what inspired you to do this one?
Actually, while I was painting one of the other ones, I think I was painting the bee that's sitting on the flower. This lady pulled up to the light and was like yelling at me to please paint a hummingbird. So I told her that I'd paint a hummingbird for her.
Oh, you're kidding. Well, that's beautiful.
Now
That's
remember, he doesn't always take requests.
listen, because I'm about to send a bunch of them there. Because I've seen some fences and garages. Uh,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, oh my goodness. Okay,
No, he
can
does.
you
He does those really inexpensively um for people around the area. I mean, I think the garage doors what they started around between 600 to 1,000, depending on the size of the garage door and the detail to it.
Yep.
And it's like, what were some of the fences? It depends on the length. Could go like $1,500 on up. But depending on how much fence you want.
how much you want done?
Right, but it's a beautiful way to beautify your yard and have something unique in a different background or backdrop in your backyard too, or
Well,
on your driveway.
I'm gonna show that shortly. Mickey, can we scroll through to another page? Because I've got some of those. I mean, the murals are beautiful that you paint on there. I love artwork. Okay, we've got. Oh, you didn't get the other one, so I'll I'll send those. I'll send those back. Um, I'll send those back through because I saw the ones with the garage doors, and they were absolutely um, gorgeous.
Thank
I
you.
mean, you could just take those that were on the rock and you just blow them up to the size of the garage door, and that's pretty much what you can get, and it's just such a beautiful thing to pull into every day after a long day of work.
Yeah, it really is, and um, I love it. Absolutely love them. And so,
Yeah.
Mickey, I'm gonna have to try to find those back. Um, yeah, my phone is, my internet over here is intermittent. Unfortunately, so Johnny, you have a program that's coming back up. I'm gonna wait a minute, And if you can just keep this one up, Mickey, because here goes the Cardinals. You have something coming up on May 18th.
I do. So Genesee Storage Company, they bought a old Kroger location next to the US 23 drive-in. They turned it into some indoor storage. Well, they're very sweet people, and they made a graffiti/mural contest. And I painted a couple of murals inside of their facility. And voting for that is on May 18th between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. And it has a cash prize for first, second, and third place. So yeah, I participated in that and hoping to get some votes.
Okay, so tell us
So
about
if you're around on May 18th, what number do you want to vote for, Johnny?
5 and 6.
Okay, to vote for number 5 and number 6.
Yep.
Is that what you say? Okay. Okay. And so so you said it's May 18th.
Yep.
And where's it at again?
It's at Genesee Storage. It's on Fenton Road, south of Maple. I don't remember the exact address, and I'm unprepared for that. But it's
That's okay.
posted on my social media.
It's right next to
The US 23 drive-in.
23 drive-in.
Yep.
With the old Kroger
Oh, okay. Okay. Right. Yeah. And if you don't, I think that's our last drive-in in the city of Flint.
there. Yep.
Yep.
I think that's one of the last ones in Michigan, actually. One of the
Really?
few. Yeah. I forgot. I saw a number of how many are in the United States, and it's just stunning how little drive-thrus there are in the United States anymore.
You know, that used to be the thing. I never really liked going to the movies, but
Yeah.
I did always like going to the drive-in. It was just different. Yeah. In the movies, you
They
have
were
to be
fun.
quiet. You know, you didn't have to be quiet in the, in the drive-in because you were in your own
Right.
vehicle. You know, it was just a lot more fun. You could take your own food, whatever you were drinking.
Sneak people in the back. No, I'm just kidding.
Listen, Johnny was going because he must be in the back. He was doing something.
Anyways.
Yeah, I did.
I used to have a hatchback. Okay, that seatbelt down. You can lay down, made it to a bed. No, just kidding.
See what they're talking about. See, I did not do any of that. Okay, none of that.
I just would say
None of
this
that.
could happen. You can lay there and watch a movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, people put mattresses in the back of their pickup
Oh,
truck
they
and
did
lay
used
there
to
and
do
watch
it in the back of trucks. So we do have the Cardinal picture. Can you describe what inspired you for that?
Again, just the spring weather. I did a series of them just to uplift the community. And people enjoy cardinals. It's usually like a sign of a significant other or a loved one passing. But I did just a mated pair of cardinals, female and male.
I love it. It's beautiful. Mickey, I sent some of the fence work paintings also. They should have dropped in. And then, so I mean, I like to do things different because Flint politics has turned into Dalton, Illinois politics. Are about the same time? Yeah, I mean, which is unbelievable. So describe what this is. That must be the homeowner's dog.
Yep. I don't have the image yet.
Oh,
we don't see the image.
This is the one with the black. Look like I don't know if it's a Labrador or it's a dog.
Yeah, it's a pit bull terrier. Yep, it's her dog that passed away. So I put her dog on her gate to her fence. That way she could see it when she walked in and out.
Oh well, we're loading, so we got internet here and
there. And here's the good part is it's easy to get a hold of Johnny if you guys are interested. It's Johnny Fletcher on Facebook. You can message him. If you can't get a hold of him or can't find him, you can reach out to me. I know most of the people on here probably have my information, or John, you can give them my information, and I can connect them with Johnny also.
So if it's something that you're interested in, because it is beautiful, you have some fence, or garage, and I think I saw it on your page for like $500,000, which is ranging, and you had stated that you could definitely get it done. I was like, ooh, beautiful. If I had to spare $500 to $1,000, I could get mine done. It's beautiful. I love artwork, and in this climate with so much going on, to have something beautiful to look at can change your mindset. So,
Yep.
can you see it now, Johnny?
Yeah,
Yep.
yep,
Okay. I think that is so unique. I'm like, that's what's up. So you have her dog and you have butterfly and you have some daisies there.
yep.
How long did it take you to paint that?
I think 3 days. Well, I mean that particular section just a few hours, but the section of fence is pretty large. It's like her whole backyard.
Hmm. That section, just a few hours. Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
wish God had given me the gift of singing and painting, and I can't do either one. That is beautiful. And then
Neither
the
can I, but I can write.
okay, see, got to know your gift. Put up another one for me, Mickey. There's the hummingbirds again.
Yeah.
That's just beautiful, beautiful. And so, what inspired that one?
Uh, I just basically went through and picked a bunch of things that you would see around Michigan
Hmm.
and put it on her fence in her backyard. The whole neighborhood loves it. I've gotten messages on Facebook from people that live in her neighborhood that were like, "I seen your painting. It looks great. It brightens up the corner of the neighborhood."
And it does. You have one in the Sixth Ward, and it's on Forest Hill, and it's behind Ken Scott's office. And I don't know, John, you painted, but we have a mural there. We also have a
Yeah.
mural painted in the Sixth Ward on Dr. Rex Weaver's dental office. Um,
Yep.
Dr. Rex Weaver is the husband of Mayor Dr. Karen Weaver, and there's a mural that's painted there in the Sixth Ward. Trying to think of any other ones in the
Oh,
Sixth Ward.
there are tons of them on the sixth ward. Gosh, you want to go down the list here? I got to remember the boundaries though, 'cause they're new.
Oh,
But
look at that.
there's tons of murals in the sixth ward, and if you go to the Pixel Sticks app, you can find them all. But yeah, no, it's like the one that you're talking about on Dr. Weaver's office was Carson DeYoung. It goes by Depps. He's from
Mhm.
originally from New York, but lives in Puerto Rico now. Um, which is an amazingly talented artist. That's his second mural in Flint. We have a couple others there on Flushing Road. There's one, oh, let's see, right there on
We used to have Dr.
Ballinger.
Mona Tisha's, but that building was torn down.
Yeah, that building was torn down, but there's tons of them. There's one on Hurley at the entrance of Hurley on Robert T. there.
Mhm.
Um, let's see if you go down. Oh, there's some in Mott Park, and um, like on the tunnels in Mott Park, there's one, and then there's I don't know. There are tons of them all over the city. You've got tons of them in your ward.
And they beautify every area. And Mott Park
Mhm.
is in the Sixth Ward, and there's a mural inside of the building, too, inside of our clubhouse. But I
Yep.
wanted to, yeah, Lord knows I have enough meetings there. I appreciate the Sixth Ward people, our residents. So here's another beautiful mural. This one is gorgeous. This is gorgeous. So if I hit the lottery, um, I'm gonna
Oh,
get
you don't
this
have to
one
hit the
right
lottery.
here. I'm
Let's
gonna hit
apply for some ARPA funds.
one.
Oh, never
Listen,
mind.
I have to vote for my own like everybody else. See, we were being nice. They were
I
being
didn't say that out loud, did I? No.
no. So this one is gorgeous. I love the
Yeah,
vibrant colors in this. I mean, you pull
I
up to
lo-
this will make you happy.
so I love the background to this one, Johnny. I don't know if you want to tell it a little bit.
The background of this is like my second mural that I did on the Stevenson building where that we talked about earlier that got torn down. Uh, I just replaced on that mural I painted an Oriole, and the homeowner asked if I'd put a male cardinal there instead. So I kind of replicated that mural and switched out the birds.
That's
So
beautiful.
yeah, that would have been his second mural he ever did. So
Oh wow, wow.
Yeah, not that one, but I mean the one that the background represents. So it's kind
That's
of cool. And
that is
seeing
cool.
as a curator, seeing the difference from back then till now, it's just amazing.
That's gorgeous. Mickey, do we have anything else on the slideshow with that one that I just sent to you? Okay. So so I love your artwork. So May 18th, Johnny. Um, tell us again about your event. Number 5 and number 6 is was it
Yep, number
ooh,
5 and number 6 are my mural numbers. It's just indoor at a storage facility. It won't take you but 5 minutes, 10 minutes to come through and check everyone's art out, and you can vote. Um, it's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There's food trucks, a bunch of other things there. It's a little event for a grand opening.
well, let's just May 18th. If you're available, stop in to see Johnny. His mural number is number 5, number 6. It's an indoor storage facility,
Yeah, it's called Genesee
Genesee.
Storage.
Genesee Storage, and it's located on.
Fenton Road,
on
just north of US 23, adjacent right next to it. It's
okay.
the old Kroger building.
Oh, I know where the old Kroger building. Yeah,
Yep.
and then people and look, Mickey keep me on my feet. And people can get in contact with you by contacting you on Facebook at Johnny Fletcher, just
Yep.
like it sounds, Johnny Fletcher. You can inbox him, or you can contact Joe Scapani, or you can contact me, Tonya Burns, if you're watching. I will make sure that I connect both of you. With my imaginary secretary and administrative assistant, I will make sure that that happens.
Those
So
ones are always the best.
I
The
know,
imaginary one's great.
right?
Oh, he does
So
so much great work.
I know, and he said he used to be are you still doing tattoos?
No, not really anymore.
Okay, okay. I always wanted a tattoo, but my skin does not allow it for some reason. I have overzealous skin that creates unnecessary keloids. So, but
Oh
anyway,
no.
yeah, yeah, that's what it is. So, Johnny, I appreciate you taking this time on Saturday morning to spend with me, with talking with Tanya. We're going to get into some politics here. Um, you're welcome to stay if you like, but if not, um, we can bring you down.
All right,
I
well,
don't know.
I
I'd like.
appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you sharing your time. Mickey's going to bring you down. And Joe, before Johnny gets off, is there
Oh
anything you
yeah.
would like to say as you're sitting up in Mexico
Well,
happy? Okay.
I know, right? I mean,
Yes.
it is great seeing what's going on with the community and the mural project and a lot of the other community organizations. And it's like leading into your politics, it makes up for so much that the city government's lacking on helping the community. And there's so many other programs. It's wonderful to see a bunch of neighborhood groups, a bunch of neighborhood organizations, other organizations in Flint that are doing such an amazing thing to make up for what our government is lacking in the city of Flint. And we really need to push that. We need to it's like the mural project evolved from community conversations, from like
Mhm.
3 years of community conversations to figure out how to move Flint Public Art Project forward. It's like how many neighborhood meetings, and it's not go there and talk; it's go there and listen.
Mhm.
And that's what we've got to remember. We got to go and listen to people when we're trying to get information from you and to figure out what you want. We can't tell you all the information. We need you to tell me the information. And the city needs to really take a lot of lessons from that because it's like I see so many mishandlings with some stuff, and we just need to all band together and push through and work for our city and make our city beautiful for us and not everybody around them. Not not, we just can't worry about what the government's doing because we just have to, because they're not going to do it right anyways. And so we need to, like everybody else, the city needs to take it into their own hands, like they have been for years, because there's been no money coming into the city to help these neighborhoods out. And they've been doing it all by themselves. Same with these nonprofit organizations around the city that do amazing things. So, support these organizations, support these neighborhood groups. And those are always the great things. Those are the things that are going to keep Flint thriving. And it's the community. It's going to keep us thriving. And I love being a part of it. I love working with the murals and providing those. So
Well, I love seeing them. So we're going to Johnny. Thank you for sharing your time. We're gonna drop Johnny down. And Joe, did you want to stay on? You follow.
sure, I'll stay
You
on for a
follow
minute.
Flint. You follow
Might
Flint.
as well get myself in trouble a little bit.
Look, kind of mild trouble today.
I'm 6,000 miles away. Who cares? No, I'm just kidding.
I appreciate having a friend like you that in the time that I can't respond, you do respond in my absence. And that's the type of friend that I appreciate and I adore and love. So, Johnny,
Awesome.
we're going to drop down you, but thank you for sharing
Yeah,
your
thank you for
time
having me.
with us this morning. And I look forward to having you back again. I'm telling you, Johnny, I get that, $500 to $1,000. I'm gonna have you paint fence, and I'm
I'll
gonna have
hook you up.
garage done because I think it'll beautify, and I need something pretty to look at, something pretty.
Yes.
The birds in my neighborhood be up like 3:45, which I'm like, what in the
Try
world?
living in the Mexican jungle at 4 or 5 in the morning.
But your birds are like tropical. Those
I know,
you
right?
just that one to be on the Fruit Loops box of cereal.
Really not.
Right, he's out there almost. You have tropical birds. It's a big difference. Now I'm not living for the lizards that you be had little geckos or whatever. Anything of those, I'm not. No. Only thing reptiles are good for is accessories. That'd be some shoes, a purse, a wallet, a belt. That's it. I'm not trying to live with them. No.
The monkeys and the jaguars are entertaining too. So
Okay, look, I'm not even into the monkeys. I'm gonna be honest with you, because monkeys will get all in your hair and climb all over you, and I'm definitely not into the jaguars. No, monkeys are good on that. Okay, I can watch them on what's the show? It used to be Wildlife Kingdom with the guy was so boring as a kid. I'm like, why is he? We didn't have cable at my grandmother's house back then. And it was at my dad's mother's house. And I'm like, why don't they have cable? So we had to watch that. And he was of Omaha. I think it was Wild. I was like, ugh. The kids don't know they got all these channels and stuff. We had our stations in a few games, checkers, hide and seek. And if you were a mannish person, it was hide something else. And then you raced in the street, we rode our bikes. And then we're gonna segue. We played at historical Oak Park. Let me throw that in. Yes. So, Johnny, we're going to let you drop down. And Joe, you and I are going to get into just a little good trouble. It's John.
All right. Just a little good trouble.
Some good trouble. So, Mick, if we can put up. I actually feel better with that Benadryl. My eyes stopped itching.
Good.
So, this last week, we had a few. Yeah. Yep. So this week, and I'm not even saying last week, this week, we talked about, I was back for my full council meeting in my seat for committee meeting, and it was nice to be back because we have to ask what's going on. We have 5 people who will rubber stamp, and that is a problem. A lot of things. So there was a meeting that was held at Ashley Capitol with Ashley Capitol people, and also with some of the historical Oak Park friends, and they were there. They stated to me that they were told by Councilman Quincy Murphy that he had 5 votes, and these 5 votes would sell the historical park. and I believe it's for sale for 175,000. It sits on 8.2 acres of land. And why is this historical? It is Flint's first park, very first park. So in the automobile industry, when people went from horse and carriage, and from the carriage, which is Durant Company, Durant Carriage Company, actually donated this land. And on this land, they had Tent City because people were coming up to Flint, Detroit, Pontiac to make a living, and immigrants and black people from the South who wanted a better wage to support their families. And so people lived in this park. And this went on for over 10 years. And they called it Tent City because it was right next to Buick then. And so
Yep.
people they lived there, and then they would basically cross the street, you know. And it's funny because now you really understand. We had a duplex, 757 East Baker Street, my parents' home, and it was a dual home, and it was um, we had that until my parents bought a home out, and they still kept it and rented it after they bought another home, and then as they separated, my stepdad moved back there, and so we still we played in Oak Park, but you had thousands of people who worked there on a first shift, second shift, and third shift. General Motors stayed working, so 24/7 they worked and they built cars. You start on Hamilton Street, you had nothing. They were pouring their own metal in the foundry, and then all the way down to is it Pearson Road? You'd have the final product, which was a complete vehicle that was built. They were pouring the metal and everything. My grandfathers worked in the foundry, mother's side and father's side, because that was the only place that really in General Motors that black people could work, because who wanted to work in a hot foundry? Well, they put the black people there to work. And so,
Yep.
yeah. And so Tent City, the historical Oak Park, they're having a rally today. So if you are available from
Good. Yes.
12 to 4, yes, that's why I'm wearing this lime green shirt. So if you're available to support this from 12 to 4 today, please come out to Oak Park, historical Oak Park, to Save Oak Park rally. It'll be from 12 to 4 today at Oak Park, which is located on North Street. I used to be bordered by Rankin, and used to be Baker and Industrial. So it's where the nice big Ashley Capitol buildings are at. You won't be able to miss those. So here's my
Well,
thing. Though. I'm gonna.
yeah, and it frustrates me that
Mhm.
not only is it a historic landmark, but psycholo- for psychological reasons in an inner city, these parks are needed. They're needed for people, they're needed for children, they're needed for green space, they're needed for places to play, they're needed for families to have picnics in, and all these other things. And there's so much that can be done with those. And there's grant money out there that can be done to fix these up and really make this park nice. It just will the city let it happen, because the city wants the money, of course, because the city wants to spend the money, I'm sure, on something else, because the mayor's greasing the palms of somebody else's hands so he can get more votes when it comes to reelection or whatever, like he's doing with the ARPA money. But it just you have to. I mean, it's like if you like compare. I live in Mexico. They pay a lot of attention to the outdoor spaces and the outdoor parks. I've lived here for almost a year now, and you go to these parks, they have basketball hoops and basketball courts that are great for the people that are covered. They have like eating areas, sitting areas. They have like little exercise equipment for the kids, along with slides and all these playgrounds. And they invest a lot of money into these parks in every city, all over the different cities. So these kids and these families have places to go out and have events, have their birthday party or their child's graduation or their afternoon picnic or meetings with friends or neighborhood group meetings and stuff like that. I mean, these were all important. And, a lot of the reasons these park movements is kind of like the cemetery movement with
Glendale
Glenwood
Hill.
Cemetery and all
Mhm.
that. These were
Beach Road.
places to be able to get out of or be able to like almost escape the toxicity of living in the city and the industrialization in the city and the pollution and all that and enjoy some nature. And you know, they understood the importance of that. You needed that mental freedom and mental release, and to get rid of that and put a parking lot in there for the if we build it they will come project. Because I mean, I don't know how many buildings have I seen in Flint that have been put up that are still waiting, over the years, still
Uh,
waiting for people to either rent or occupy, and still not occupied. I mean, there's one on, what is it, Fifth and Mason right there. There's a little plaza there, and it's been there for, gosh, I don't know, 7 years now, and half the windows are busted out. And no one's ever stayed in that. No one's ever occupied any of those buildings. It's like, and that's close to downtown. And there's so many other buildings, and it's like, I don't get it. Why are we investing millions of public money on a build? If we build it, they will come. And it's
right.
been historically shown that they still haven't came.
Well, here's
Until
one
we
of the
take
things
care of some
too.
other problems, they're not
Right.
going to come.
And I think with Ashley Capital, I'm not in favor, and I'm very open about it with them. You can't pave over history and say move your history to another park. It just doesn't work like that. And
Right.
you can't take Tent City and say, oh, let's move Tent City to another park. Here's my problem with we have with council people. Uh, they met with Liddell Lewis and uh, Quincy Murphy, and they met with them with the group Save Oak Park, the Friends of Oak Park, and
Yeah.
it's not people saying, oh well, people that using that park, there's no homes. Okay, you have parks up north. They are using this park, and there's pictures to prove that they use this park. So Ashley Capital, which has received $72 million in tax abatements, 72 million. Liddell Lewis and Quincy Murphy both voted to give them a tax abatement. Then they received 3.25 million of ARPA funds. Ashley Capital received 3.25 million of ARPA funds. And so it was asked that they recuse themselves to voting on this, especially when the checks came up. So, Mickey, before we come back
Mhm.
to the TB12, and so can you put the checks up? So I hear that they were meeting again with people again, and that they met again with the mayor this week. So if
Yep.
if this is true, these are things which they should be transparent. So why are they pushing so hard for this park, this historic park to be paved over? And I'm sick of hearing the people say, oh, well, nobody even uses it. Stop that. It's historic. It has historic value. I did contact the National Historical Society for Michigan and the National because it is a park and it has
Right.
historical value and it would meet the criteria. We can't change. Where would Flint be without the automotive industry? Where would Flint
Yeah.
be? Some of those people that were sleeping in that park for over a decade weren't there to build automotives. So what does automotives do? Okay, that's going to be our shipping with our semi trucks. That's going to be our busing. That's going to be anything that is driven by a motor that's automotive. Our cars. We wouldn't be able to get our goods, our services. We wait for stuff to get stocked. And we would all still have a little old general store instead of
Oh
great
yeah.
big supermarkets and Walmart supermarkets and Myers. Trucking, with engines is what brings us all of these things. How do we get to and from school? How do we take trips with our families in our vehicles? The automotive industry, which began right here in the city of Flint. So you can't just come move our history, Ashley Capital, because you want a parking lot. No.
That's
And
right. I mean, that's the thing. And what I've learned. So I was appointed. I think it was 2017 or 2018, somewhere around there, by Dr. Weaver as the historic district commission for the city of Flint, and part of the commissioner. One of the commissioners for that. And one thing I've learned during my years doing that, and I did that for quite a few years, is a lot of big organizations don't really give a crap about Flint history. I think they'd rather see them gone than see it gone, including a lot of our government officials. It's like, okay, well, we'll sell out your history. I mean, one of the things I love about Golden Leaf is the history, and it's like, gosh, I just hope something doesn't happen and someone tries to take over this property or something like that for industrialization, because this is these are just amazing pieces of history. We see it time and time again. I mean, look at that. I don't know what is that. University Commons, that new apartment that had to go up, in that area, right there, right in the middle of Carriagetown, blocking many historic houses, the Randolph House, the red house on Grand Traverse that's across from Little Caesars there, which was owned at one point in time by Dallas Stewart and Billy Durant. Dallas Stewart's mom lived there until she passed away. This is before GM and Chevy and GM and all that. And so there's just like, let's just obstruct all this history, and we don't care about the historic rules and the historic code, and we can do whatever we want because it's the city of Flint, and the mayor is going to push it and let us do it.
And that's really what it seems. So here's my issue with this, and thank you, because your history does matter, as we know that
Yes.
critical race theory, they're trying to erase Black history in certain
Mhm.
states. So when we look at who received checks, why are they pushing and not giving pushback? So the checks are up there. We have the check with $11,000, which was to Councilman Murphy. Then we have one for $1,500, which was given to Liddell Lewis. Then Mayor Sheldon Neely had a check too. Can you got that one up? He's got a couple checks, and so them trying to give us this push and saying, "Oh, but it's not a park where people stop it." Stop it. They were building cars down there, building cars. And so they need to stop it. Families
Right.
live there. It's sacred ground. Why do we always have to fight against big industry? And then let me say this. Ashley Capital has come into this community, and it is respectful when to be respectful, which I asked for. They should have given this community a community benefit agreement. What benefit have they given to this community? Guess what, y'all? They gave Mayor Sheldon Neely a check. That's one. I mean, they gave him another one. I don't have that one up right now, but I can put it back up. They gave Quincy Murphy a check, and they gave Liddell Lewis a check. A community benefit agreement means they're doing something to benefit the community. What I would like to see done is to have this park incorporated into their landscape. They take the money and they need to upgrade it, landscape it, which would be really beautiful. If they're building 9 buildings on there, you don't need this park for a parking lot, because General Motors didn't need it as a parking lot. They had thousands of people parking cars, and Jay Nino, the young man who comes to council meetings and was going to get arrested because he was tired of, he made a remark and they was trying to throw him out. He made a comment that General Motors didn't have any problems with parking. And he's 100% correct. And I like to give credit where credit is due. They don't need this park. It's 8.2 acres. Landscape it to beautify the facade or the outside of your building. You don't need this. And I'm tired of people coming in to tell Flint, they're not even a Flint-based company, to tell Flint residents, and residents need to be at city council fighting, because only way to stop this now is to stop the 5 votes. If they don't get 5 votes, it can't go, because it was voted on November 6, 1984 to sell the park. Now, to get it for sell it, the only way to stop it is to stop the 5 council members. That means you got to go after the 5 people with them checks, or whoever who got
But here's
checks.
the thing is, why doesn't the city create a policy instead of these checks being handed out, that any place like that get a tax abatement, and many cities do this, okay? So one of the things is with like a tax abatement or new builds and all this other stuff in a lot of these cities is you donate 1% of your revenue and back into the city for like public art or community groups, or like the community foundation has the neighborhood small grants, which with a little bit of money does amazing work and helps a lot of neighborhoods out. What if we had that 1% of the revenue from these things, instead of giving Quincy money for a lawnmower and 25,000 to do Cyrus Park? It's like, why don't we get this revenue from these other places and we have continuous revenue that goes back into the city and back into beautifying the city.
You know,
You know,
and that's what a community benefit agreement can look like. And you're saying pass the ordinance. A community benefit agreement can look like whatever we want it to look like. But here it is,
right?
they don't have one at all. All they did was
No,
donate to people's personal campaigns and their nonprofits, which according to our Flint City Charter, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to disclose it.
according to federal voting laws, you're not either. You're supposed to disclose it also, and you're also, if you're called to vote on it, you're supposed to abstain because of conflict of interest. I mean, look into conflict of interest laws.
That is
I mean,
that
if
is
if,
correct.
if you or your organization have received money from somebody else and you are the president of that organization, you should not be voting. Like, if I was city council, would I vote for something for the Mott Foundation? I couldn't vote for the Mott Foundation because City Council or Mott Foundation has given us a lot, the Apple, money over the years and good
Right.
amounts of money, to do our project. And I'm just using them example. It's like, so I wouldn't be able to vote. I would have to abstain, even though I love the work Mott does. And
That's because you're
I
ethical.
can't, right. I
So
can't
this
because it's a conflict of interest for me, and that's a federal voting law. I mean, it's a
right.
state, federal, and local voting laws.
Well, I'm going to put up, and I agree with you because it is unethical, and it speaks to our Flint City Charter that you are to disclose it. As a matter of fact, they sent a resolution. There was there was a resolution that was sent up about 3 weeks ago to disclose it. It only included council members. It should have included the mayor. That if you need to disclose if you're received any funds or money from any business or seeking to do business. Well, the charter already covers that, but it didn't
Right.
state the mayor, only stated the council members. So those council members at that time voted that down as no. And so
Of
that,
course.
what did it look like? The mayor and some of those five weren't getting together. In other words, they weren't getting along. Look, because it was like, look, you're going to get your money, but we're not going to get our money. Now you want to send up, a new ordinance, but you've gotten yours and you excluding yourself from this ordinance. That was around the same
No.
time that uh, the 7th Ward council person, Candace Machat, had sent up a resolution for $300,000 for a nonprofit she is associated with. And the deputy chief, Ed Taylor, stated, hey, no, we're not in agreement with this. We're not supporting it. This is, we're not signing off on this. So I am going to put up the video with Ashley Capital because they met with Channel 12 did a story, and they met with some of the Oak Park, Save Oak Park historic people, historic Oak Park, met with the people. So Mickey, can we please play the video? Yep, ABC 12. Yep.
Soon be sold. Ashley Capital is in talks to purchase Oak Park as part of ongoing efforts to redevelop the former Buick City site. Our David Sackwriter joins us now. And David, some residents are concerned about the possible sale.
That's right. They tell me they're worried the redevelopment would literally pave over part of Flint's history. But I spoke with those residents, Ashley Capital and the city of Flint. All of them agree they want to find a solution that strikes a balance between history and growth.
Was born and raised right here in this park, right here at 837 East Franklin. And this park right here mean a whole lot to of us in this community.
For the last 40 years, those that used to live near Oak Park come back to remember Flint's history. They worry about what will happen if it's sold.
This is a place where we've been coming for years to do reunions for everybody that used to live in Oak Park. So it was very shocking.
The city decommissioned the park in 2014. Ashley Capital Development Manager Mark Quimby says they had no idea anyone still used it.
As soon as we realized this group existed, we reached out to them and asked them to meet with us so we could talk to them about what we're trying to do, what they've been doing, and whatnot.
Over the last month, the two groups have been meeting to find a way forward.
What we've been trying to do is work with the city and identify proximal parks that they could move their annual event to, where they could still get together and still have that fidelity and still have that recognition of the history.
The
proceeds, and I think it's for $175,000, the proceeds will have to go towards another park.
The idea being that another park would be upgraded to host the yearly gathering.
We'll be able to take those resources gained from this to be able to put it back into position for the recreational opportunities in other spaces and the more than 70 parks inside the city of Flint.
Meanwhile, the site of the original park would still be honored with a smaller green space.
We'll install like a pavilion with a memorial plaque or monument of some kind. We're still working that out to act as a place where people can come and basically remember that history, right? And honor that history and share it with the next generation in perpetuity.
Talks are still ongoing between Ashley Capital and the supporters of Oak Park. Councilman Murphy says they're waiting to reach an agreement between both parties before they take it to the city council. In studio, David Sackrider, ABC 12.
Are they waiting to make more money? Oh. Oopsie, did I say that out loud? No, that just totally made even pissed me off more. I'm sorry, but we'll just have people move their history and their events.
How do you do that?
How do you do that? Okay.
I mean, that's
how
just
do
like,
you do that?
How do you do that? So that's
You
like
know?
saying we need. I mean, the disrespect. We'll just move it to another park.
Right.
We'll
It's
take
like,
that money.
okay, we're just gonna move Atwood Stadium. Everything. We're gonna move Atwood Stadium over to Flint Southwestern. That stadium. There.
Right.
We'll just move the history there. We're not gonna take the park. We're gonna take the history there. You know? It's
can't
like
do that.
you can't move history. You can't change history. We need to learn this. I mean, believe me, America has worked really hard at changing history and trying to make themselves look good. But
Okay, so who discovered America?
I know, right? It's like
Listen, in school they told us Christopher Columbus, but I kept
yeah,
saying you had Native Americans on here. How you discover land that people were already inhabiting? I mean,
that's just like the illegal immigrants. All these illegal aliens from Mexico come up. Well, guess what?
We kind of
Half
stole
of
Mexico.
The country
Texas.
was Mexico. We stole it.
We stole it and made it to
we
U.S.
stole it. Right. So, it's like we conned them out of it or we stole it from them. It's like,
Right.
It's like go back to your own country. Well, this was their country.
That part.
Right. So it's like you go back to yours because if you're a white person, you probably weren't born here. I'm sorry, but you weren't indigenous.
Right, that part. So here's my
Yeah.
problem with this. The people supporting on that video who want to sell Oak Park and think it's a fantastic idea, they receive Ashley Capital checks, okay? So those people who think, well, this is a great thing for this to happen, to take this and reimburse, they received Ashley Capital checks. And that's why we need the residents to show up at city council and to let those people, council members, know, do not sell historical Oak Park. Let Ashley be a part of it.
That'd be like selling the Golden Leaf.
That part. That exactly.
Okay, for a parking lot no one's going to use.
And if it's a historical park, you get historical money. So let's do the work. Ashley Capital can incorporate that in landscaping to beautify their tall structures, which are just buildings. And it can be a part of the landscaping. They know how to do that. Get an architectural designer to do that. I mean, so they need to stop. They come in here just saying, you know what we want, and you're going to give it to us. And we have a mayor who is compromised because he took a check, in my opinion.
Yep.
And the views of this are of Tonya Burns, not of 810 News Media Group. So Mayor Neely had some checks, and it's some more checks out there. And I think they added what they had given him. And I'll have to get that number, what he had actually taken. But you can't move history. It's not movable when it's the ground.
No.
You can't move ground. You can't. And so, for years, and they talk, well, the trees are a problem. Them trees survive General Motors pollution and everything else and still thrive. I mean, come on. They need to stop.
It's not the trees, it's the people. It's the industrialization that is the problem.
So residents need to reach out to those who took checks, Liddell Lewis, who I hope she can have a conscience on this, as much as she and Quincy Murphy, Liddell Lewis and Quincy Murphy love a park, they should be trying to save historical Oak Park. Lord, they love her park. Dewey Park, Cyrus Park. They love a
Yeah.
park. They should
Well,
be.
we know where that 400 whatever thousand or 400 whatever 100,000 is
I thought he
going.
said
Their parks. They're
475,000.
going to their parks.
I thought it was
Yes, we're just going to one of your parks. No. Oh, I thought it
I thought
175
he
or
said
whatever.
475 too, but I was told it was 175,000.
Still 175,000.
Yeah.
I wonder what parks that's going to go to. Just
None.
curious.
Listen, none. I mean, just
Yeah.
like they sold the and they sold for $500,000 the St. John's building, a recreation center, and it was the old police academy for 500,000.
Yep.
They gave half of that money back to St. John's for a project, and they stopped the project. And I don't know where it's at right now. And the other part, we don't know. If we were, first of all, people wanted to see it. They wanted to, have it labeled as a historical site. So as a community, we have got to start breaking down things and working in groups, because one person can't do it all. We have to come to have certain people to work on certain things. But
Yep.
I'm saying Save Historical Oak Park, and that if you're available today, 12 to 4, come out, support them. They need your support. I am supporting, to save Historical Oak Park. And then also for those of you, can come, we have to stop the 5 votes. And we have got 5 people who are up for election or recall. And so they are up for election or recall as 6 people. You have the first ward has an election, second ward I think has a recall, third ward has a recall.
Seventh ward has an election.
And 7th ward has an election. Okay. And congratulations to Jonathan Jarrett of the 9th ward. Woo! He won his race. He is now the councilman-elect for the 9th ward. And he ran a very respectable race. And I wanted to be clear, I'm going to do a little house cleaning. He did not bribe anyone, as someone is trying to state. He won that race because he was clearly qualified. The people, the residents liked his messaging. They talked to him, and they put up the thing. They said, "Oh, he won it because he went to the people only in the Regencies because it was predominantly Black." Let me tell you something. That was precinct number 27. Now, one person voted in there, but that's okay.
But you know what? If they did, who cares? They're they're a person of the ward. Who cares? Because you talk to somebody they talk to somebody you're afraid to talk to.
That part.
Okay, I'm sorry, but if you're afraid to talk to somebody or go to an area in your ward, then you should not be in that ward.
And that's true, because they deserve representation too. If they had pulled out 400 votes in there, God bless him and them. But I'm going to tell you something. That person who put it up, when you are living in poverty, you're a single parent, you're worried about your grocery bill, you don't have gas in your car, your cable about to get cut off, and you need a spare tire for the car you got to run, and one of the kids is sick out of 3. You're not worried about day to day.
I saw the post you were talking about, and she thinks people are stupid because she posted it like that's how he won.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
It had the percentage of in that area has the highest percentage of registered voters or something like that, and that's how he won. But there wasn't one vote. Look at the column next to it, says actual votes. It's like you're like misleading and manipulating information, purposely saying that he went to the Regency and got all these votes and that's how he won. Yeah, but not one person voted from there.
No.
So,
and it was a very, because it was the only race, everyone feared that it would be a race that would not be, there was no other race, that there would be other people there. And so it would be a low turnout, and I think the percentage was actually up from when the last election. So you had 3 candidates, and it was Jonathan Jarrett who won the race, and respectfully to the other 2 the candidates, Flint just spoke different. They wanted something different, and and I'm gonna tell you, he talked to Black and white people, and I knocked doors for Jonathan Jarrett. I knocked doors, and it's not a color thing, and we need to stop for people pushing a divide by race, because it's not that. Those people did not care what color he is. And I'm a black woman. First thing they're gonna see is, hey,
Mhm.
she's a black woman, but here's what we need done. We need a speed bump. There's too much crime. I've called about even garbage pickup and she hasn't returned calls. They
Yep.
wanted something different. And so it wasn't of the Regencies because it was Freeman School area. It was
Yeah.
across by McKinley School. You got Circle Drive area. People wanted
Yep.
something different, and he did not, just say, "Hey, I'm gonna go and target."
The
He did
black
not. It
community
was
and get the black
it was
community out there,
everybody.
right?
Right. He
Right.
wants this community to be inclusive. And let me say this again for the person spreading false information. Jonathan Jarrett wants this community to be inclusive and he's working on inclusivity and he's an independent thinker. And that's what this council means. He owes nobody nothing. Nothing. His
Yep.
vote will be his vote with how he decides to do it. And I look forward to that. And I'm going to tell you, the people that I talked to, uh, and you knew that this would be you got to knock doors, grassroots. You couldn't be a lazy candidate for this because people
No.
had said no one had ever been to their door. Nobody.
Yep.
Nobody. And around Freeman School, I met a wonderful man. His name is Tony, and he knew everybody on the block. And they watch. And these people vote, residents are very smart.
Yes.
They know what's going on. And no, one black, and
Yep.
neither was his
No,
wife.
I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm excited for him and to see what I think he's going to bring some good new energy to the council. So I think we need
absolutely.
more of that. So
I'm
yes, I'm
excited for
excited.
him. He's honest. He's not an impulsive person.
Yeah.
He's not impulsive at all. And one of the things I'm going to share this because I did volunteer for his campaign. I was not paid. And people will say, "Oh, you're doing their campaign and it's a campaign favor." I told him, and we had the conversation, full transparency. You owe me nothing. I just want you to
Yep.
go in there and be an independent thinker. You take the information and what you get out of it is what you get out of it. But I don't want you to be a rubber stamper. And that was my only concern well, that's not my only conversation, but this is what we had. And he said to me, because we do know that if you do something for somebody, like the Ashley Capital checks, it may come back,
Yeah.
in my opinion, on you. And so I told him, you don't owe me nothing. I want someone independent who is a thinker. I think one of the difficult things that in this race, one of what they thought would be the top runner, he was endorsed by a person, the former person that received 540 something recall signatures. And that meant that 540 some people did not agree or wanted to remove that council person. And so this that endorsement of her was really like a kiss of death. Why would you
Yeah.
have her endorse you and share it? That killed it because they had
No
signed
kidding.
up to recall her, the people in that ward. Why would you have her endorse you? That was not smart. I wouldn't have done that. That
Yep.
was, she could have worked quietly behind the scenes, and I don't know for what that were, because I'm gonna tell you, I talked to people and it was the callbacks. There was no response. There was the arguing. And you know what people talked about? Her standing up twice for her wanting to fight me. People asked,
Oh my gosh. I mean,
how did you keep your composure when she did that? How do you,
yeah, and
how
we're
do you,
talking about the same person thinks that
yeah, yeah,
people are racist against her because she's called a Karen. It's like, oh my gosh, lady, if you really got out in the real world and heard what a lot of people have other people have put up with and been called for hundreds and thousands of hundreds of years, then you would shut the hell up. You're supposed to be a school teacher. You know better.
right. So I
You
want to
know?
say, Mickey, can you put up the because I'm on the show, I like to put up the facts. Um, Jonathan Jarrett received 52% of the vote. And I think there's this thing that they're trying to do on social media to damage him before he got in there. She needs to stop that because it's ridiculous. And He won that race by 52% of the votes, as you will see. Yep. Precinct 27, which she said she stayed at the Regency, it was received 0 votes. I mean, and it's hard. What he will do, and part of it, along with the other part, as we all work together to bring the city together, those of us who aren't rubber stampers, he will be in the Regency. So for the Regencies, now it's called, I forget I'm going to say Motown. It's called, it's a new name, Midway Apartments. He will be reports there because there is a crime issue, shootings that he's well aware of, and he will be working in that apartment complex. So as we see here, Precinct 27 is the precinct for Regency, now Midtown apartments. How many people on there? You had registered voters in there. There's 81 registered voters in there. And you have 0 ballots. So
yeah.
she
So that's how we won. That's how we won.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
know, that's just, and bribed people. That's just not true.
Right.
She needs to stop gaslighting this community. You know, let's start bringing it together. And I'm gonna tell you, Mr. Jarrett was actually making calls, you know, trying to get stuff done before he was elected. He was trying and working on getting stuff done. So as we see here, 0 ballots were cast in the Regency apartments, formerly known. But the disrespect that was given to the Regencies by her, the disrespect. I mean, you look
that is just the worst, because I mean, to me, because it's like, you just told me you ignored part of your city. You know, yeah. What bribe are they getting? They're getting someone that's gonna actually listen to him and talk to him. Yeah, that's what he gave him. You know, that's something you didn't even give half of your constituents, unless they were richer and whiter. I'm sorry, not
Right.
you, but you know who I'm talking about. But you know what? Everybody should have a voice. I don't care who you are and where you live in the city, in your ward or whatever. You should have a voice in what is going on in your city. Okay. And you need to use that voice. And the best way to use that voice is to vote and go to city council meetings and tell them what you need and what is needed for the city, and what you like and what you don't like that they're doing. And make it known. And, you know, that's the only way we're going to get change. And it's like, I mean, one of the things I look at, it's like, even if I mean, this is totally different on political rights. It's like people, you know, women's rights are just getting torn to shreds right now. But here's the thing is, women band together, there's more registered female voters in the United States than male. You guys could dominate this work in the United States because you have the votes to do it, but you gotta use them. We gotta get together. We gotta work together, and we gotta make things happen, because that's how you're gonna turn the city around. And
you're correct. And it's not, when we talk about how inclusiveness, and I believe in inclusiveness and making a space and a place for everyone. You have to include there. I think it was a disconnect between, I feel there is sometimes a disconnect between Black women and white women. So I purposely reach out to white women who are willing to say, hey, how do we bridge this gap? You know, in my community, because it never bothered me. I don't care what color you're, a black, white, polka dot, pinstripe, you know, and your personal life is not my business. It's just not. I mean, some things to get ridiculous. Who you sleep with is not Tonya Burns' business, not at all. Because I don't want nobody in my business like that. So they would be probably sad about it. But my social life, other than that, is not, you know, no one's business. Although Lord knows everything I do will be thrown up on social media and talked about, down to my hair, my skin, my size. And look, I'm a 55-year-old woman who just made it out of menopause. I am a survivor. I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna So, but I want people to see the results. The results are Jonathan Jarrett 247. And if you look at this is called a recall election. It's a recall election. Mr. Rousseau should have never had her endorse him. that was the kiss of death. It's a recall election. You had the person recalled endorsing you. That was not good. So he won 52% of the vote, and Jonathan Jarrett did. Paige Brousseau got 145. Catherine Irwin got 85. A total of, they said 477, but then there were, I believe it ended up some, I don't know if it's overseas, but a total of 481, I believe, was votes that were cast. So he received more votes than the two people below him, than Catherine Irwin and Paige Brousseau. Mr. Jarrett, Jonathan Jarrett, received more votes. The community spoke loud. Precinct 27, if the people who were living in the Regency had to cast the ballot, it would have been even higher. This tally does not include any votes from them. So it would have been more than 52% if she felt that they were getting this vote. Their votes just not in there. It would have been higher. So these were people who said, you know what, I've been watching council meetings and I've been calling. I don't like what's going on in my community. And I went out and I talked to the people. I knocked doors for him. He doesn't owe me anything. I don't do that. That's not how I move. I want you to be independent, and we get independent thinkers and voters these council members will vote on a lie. They will vote on a lie and don't care with no conscience. They voted that
I mean, some of these,
I ain't never did that.
what you're sitting there saying about her, the old council that was endorsed her. It's like that'd be like having Rick Snyder endorse you in the city of Flint. Okay,
or Richard Barrett. Right. That's just not smart. If you're gonna
right,
is that the endorsement that you want?
Right.
It's a recall election, and he had the recalled person endorse him.
Yeah.
Come on now. I mean, that just was not smart at all. To have
look, the person that you want to get rid of is endorsing me, so I can continue her work.
Right, and the community said, we're not having that. And they can't blame it on the Black people in the Regencies. And those are educated and informed voters. They were educated and informed voters who said, we don't want the same old. They signed those petitions, obviously, for a reason. I wish her the very best in what she is doing. But this was an election. It's done. Moving on. Looking forward to what Jonathan Jarrett has in store for the city of Flint. He ran a very respectful race. He's a very respectful man, family man, him and his wife, and they have a blended family. And I look forward to serving with him because he's a fair person. And he is a critical thinker. No shade. It might be some shade a little bit. He is a real critical thinker. Jonathan Jarrett is a critical thinker. So I look forward to having some critical thinkers on there. And to my bro, Dennis Pfeiffer, you are definitely missed. I know you got a lot that is going on. You were missed, but you won't have to argue with anybody anymore. I know you won't miss that. You won't have to be called out of your name. That won't happen anymore. To your left, it won't. You won't have that anymore, Dennis. So, but I don't have a whole bunch more to go. I don't know if you wanted to jump off, Joe.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna jump off here. I got a couple things I have to go do.
Okay, well,
but it was great talking to you, Tonya.
Same here.
Yes,
as you're in sunny Mexico, we're in cloudy Michigan.
It's only going to be like 92 today, so I might.
Okay, yeah, Mickey. Do we have like any sound effects like we're the old school phone where it's like boom and come on?
So, I got to remind everybody on the 18th there, go to that Genesee Storage and vote for number 5 and 6 for Johnny. So just my final plug before you get back into politics. So, all right, Tonya, you have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Joe. You enjoy. Thank you for sharing your time with us today.
Yeah. Bye now.
Okay. So as we go and move forward, I want to say thank you to Joe and to Johnny, Joe Scapani and Johnny Fletcher. I need you guys to click like, share, and if you could, in order for us to bring these type of shows to you, click like, share, subscribe, and like the button. If when you're watching, hit that like button, hit that like button, hit that like button. And then also, if you like to donate, please donate. We need to upgrade equipment pretty soon. They're trying to get rid of tripods. I don't know if you got four legs, if they're gonna call it a quad camera stand, but they're trying to, they got to get some different equipment to make sure that we bring you these type of podcasts so that we can communicate and share what's happening in the city and around the world and our views and our opinions. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all. So if you'd like to donate, it can be as less as $5. It's Cash App, $810 News Media Group. That's right. If you can donate to Cash App, $810 News Media Group. The sign is up there asking if it could be $5, it could be 10, it could be 20, it could be whatever you have, to donate. And because I appreciate everyone coming in. I don't receive anything. I do this for my time and put it together. Usually every third Friday, I go to the dermatologist and I get about anywhere from 16 to 20 something shots. And I'm like, I'm out for the weekend. So I am here today because it's important. And I want to help save historical Oak Park. You can keep that up, Mickey. So if you could, hit that, we would appreciate it. I do not take a salary. This is purely on my time to keep everyone informed. I like to make sure that I put up documents to support what I'm saying, just like the election. Mr. Jarrett Jonathan Jarrett received 52% of the vote, and the community has spoken. They want to move forward with honesty, integrity, and they want inclusiveness. And that's the reason why. Oh, and for people to call them, for the council person to call them back. And so we can talk about these things. So if you could donate. Mickey, we're going to go back to, and we'll put that back up again towards the end. So there is, Mickey, I sent to you the historical Oak Park, and it gave some information, and you're going to see because this rally is important. Flint doesn't own anything anymore. They sold the garbage trucks, they sold the ambulance that we had when emergency management. They sold even the Santa Claus off of City Hall. So if we don't start preserving and what we have, people are making remarks that this council is like they are like emergency management selling everything. So if we want to put up, Mick, I sent it back to you, so it'll be at the bottom. And so historical Oak Park, you can't just remove dirt and trees and say we're going to move your historical site to another non-historical site. That's just simply not how that works. It doesn't work that way. Yes. So Oak Park is a neighborhood located at 2598. North Street. It sits on 8.4 acres in the sixth largest park in Flint. Then it says some of the facts. Did you know Oak Park is one of the oldest parks in the city? It was donated by the Durant Dork Carriage Company in 1909. So this is an older article. So then it said it's about 110 years old, but it's older than that. Y'all do the math. I took a Benadryl. It used to be known as Tent City due to the populous number of residents who migrated to the city for employment opportunities. After the closing and demolition of the factories, attendance at the park greatly diminished. The park was soon left in ruins of what used to be the center of a neighborhood events and summer fun for the children. For the past few years, council has been planning to decommission the park due to its use of uninviting condition. However, no plans were executed. So 10 years later now, we have council trying to sell it. The election for that was done November the 6th, 1984. So it is a historical landmark. So there's historical money from the federal government. and we're trying to save the park. Dealing with John McFadden and his wife Sherry, they have been there, and we had other people who came and spoke, Josie, in regards to the park. So the only way to stop that is go after those 5 votes that Quincy Murphy said he had. Quincy Murphy told them he got 5 votes. So that means that people have to go after those 5 votes. And that's just the way. I don't know why. And I do know why. He just said it because they got him and they used him and they flaunted. It was just to tell you, I have 5 votes. The park's going to be sold anyways. Just disgraceful and shameful. Disgraceful and shameful. So, Mickey over there yawning, y'all. He looking like he tired. So the rally is today from 12 to 5. It is from 12 to 5. So we're gonna put up a couple of these TikToks. So listen, some of them votes got some Ashley Capital checks, y'all. Y'all seen them. So some of them votes got Ashley Capital checks, and I'm gonna talk about it. They got mad, and put on my resolution that they don't like the fact, we're removing me for 30 days, which, by the way, we're still waiting for Judge Paquel to give his decision. We're still waiting. And why is he calling me? Now he know darn well I'm on, and I'm not going to. What do you want? I'm still on my podcast. North Street. It's 12 o'clock. I'm hanging up on you. Y'all know who that is, don't y'all? I'm doing my podcast. Yeah. Listen, Arthur Woods go. He gonna get the business. So, so when I don't. Oh my. Okay. Listen, thank God to releasing them. I feel like I had on earmuffs in the wintertime. Okay. So, oh yeah, because they're not up there anymore. So it's just us. So in regards to the see, I shouldn't have took that call because he threw me off. Literally. So the door is so I'm gonna finish up with the Oak Park. The TikTok. So as we look at our government, we look at our local and Flint specifically. And I've always said Flint is not unique in any kind of way. So I've been following Tiffany Henry for about a year and a half on TikTok. And she's the mayor of Dalton. She calls herself the super mayor. She got her name up all over her face all over, using government funds of Dalton, Illinois, to put her name on signs. And so the people in Dalton, Illinois, have been speaking out for over a year as to some what they consider to be her improprieties. And guess who's there? The alphabet people, FBI. FBI does not tell you when they come, and they don't. They just kind of they show up, and by then they done did all the investigating. And so they've showed up to Dalton, Illinois. Why? Teflon Tiffany Tahoe Henyard, I think that was her name, people call her, was doing some things which were unethical and continues to do it. And so we had Jedediah Brown, who was here, and he was like, Tonya, Flint is more corrupt than Dalton, is what he had stated. And we got a lot going on. We got council people who will vote in your face to give their nonprofits and businesses and organizations that they are affiliated with. They're affiliated with it, and they vote yes to give themselves money. So some of the TikToks we're gonna put it, because Dalton is down. I think Jedediah Brown is still there, but the community is coming out, and the community is angry. They are angry. They pulled up one man's thing where he was messing around with a 15-year-old girl and pulled it. I'm like, oh, that he had an inappropriate relationship with this young 15-year-old girl. So People were taking buyouts, just like another one we did in Portsmouth, Virginia, where the lady said, "I'm mad as a MFer," when she said, "I'm mad as an MFer," and then told on the other person that they had taken $3,000 and didn't report it and disclose it. So we do now know that the FBI is in Dalton, Illinois, because it's been reported on the news. I think there was one, WDN is the one that I want to. It's a couple of them, but I wanted to go over. I may have to resend that one right back to you, because you can't believe it's okay. I'm gonna send this one to you because the news covered this one. So this one, can you put this TikTok of listen, Teflon Tahoe Tiffany Henyard. That's a lot for a nickname, and it's a tongue twister. And this is the super mayor just doing what she wants. And the people have said, not anymore. So can you play that?
So how dare you think you could come in someone's town and she will not be paid for services?
Angry residents speaking out tonight at a village board meeting about allegations of sexual assault against a village trustee and FBI serving subpoenas at Village Hall.
WGN's Dana Rebick is live in Dalton tonight with the late details. Dana.
Well, this board meeting definitely turned heated, with a shouting match breaking out at one point between Mayor Tiffany Henyard and one of her trustees. Mayor Henyard also lashing out verbally at former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who trustees have hired to investigate her.
What do you want?
Ahead of a Dalton Village board meeting, residents calling for action.
When do you want it?
Now! In that group, the former assistant to Mayor Tiffany Henyard was there. Fania Dukes showed up to Village Hall, thanking community members for their support after releasing a videotaped statement earlier today about the alleged sexual assault she says happened a year ago on a taxpayer-funded trip to Las Vegas, where she accuses community activist Andrew Holmes, a Dalton trustee and ally of Henyard, of assaulting her.
But I at least knew I got a man with me, I'm going to make it home. I ain't even got to worry about try to go on the strip by myself. I legitimately thought that, I was going to make it home. Until my last memory was me waking up in his room.
Holmes has denied the allegations and has not been charged and was not at tonight's meeting. Dukes was put on leave and later fired after coming forward, filing a civil lawsuit.
I am pleased that Trustee Holmes is not here, although I asked him to suspend himself with a little integrity.
This all comes after the FBI served subpoenas at the village of Dalton and Thornton Township, where Henyard is also the supervisor. Those subpoenas named Tiffany Henyard, her top aide Keith Freeman, two of her allies on the village board, the deputy police chief, and a dozen others, seeking expense and employment records. Critics accuse the mayor of using taxpayer dollars to bankroll trips to the tune of $102,000 in the past year. Her cancer charity also under scrutiny. The FBI also investigating claims that Henyard withheld construction permits and business licenses from her opponents.
You got somebody to answer to, and that's the people of the village. This administration is shameful. Y'all are a disgrace. If you won't step down,
We need to take our township back and put it in more capable hands. A lot of times this board sells you off of fake news, which is they come out and they film things and they put our community in a bad light.
Last month, the Board of Trustees voted to hire former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot as a special investigator into Mayor Henyard. Tonight, Henyard vetoed that appointment.
It's veto power. So how dare you think you could come in someone's town and start working or doing something, even though we sent something stating it's illegal. We cited the code and everything in here, and she will not be paid for services.
Now, in past motions that the mayor has vetoed, the trustees turn around and vote to override her. That did not happen tonight, but is something that could take place at the next village board meeting, which is coming up on May 20th. Live in Dalton tonight, Dana Rebick, WGN News.
More to come there, Dana. Thank you.
A trip to Butte, Iowa. That was not related to anything with the city of Flint, and they're trying to tie that to it. You know, you can't make this stuff up. You know, they went to Vegas though, but this one they went to, which was not related to. It was with the councilperson in 7th Ward. It was paid for by the city of Flint to go to Dubuque, Iowa for Liddell Lewis and Candace Machat. It was not Flint related at all. So, and you need to, I mean, it becomes, oh, they think that we could lose attention, just keep talking, we'll lose interest, and residents will. Don't lose interest, people. Please continue to fight. But what we need is all of you to support us. All of you. I don't care if you live out of state. I don't care. You don't have to live in Flint to support Flint. Like I tell people, the March on Washington, which had still to date the largest march or protest done, which was over 250,000, and that was where Dr. King was, the March on Washington. It's going to take all of us, and it's inclusive of all races, colors, races, ethnicity, religious beliefs. It's going to take all of us. So you can't make this up. So people were saying, you know, one of the things, you know, people are saying, well, what about the Mitchell boys, the fire? Why isn't, you know, anyone looking at, they felt the cover up of the Mitchell boys, the Pulaski fire, how the mayor intervened. People were concerned about that. The trash shredding, when Micah Brown said he was instructed by the mayor to shred the trash contract. The Ashley Capital checks that were received by council members with organizations and nonprofits that they're affiliated with, and they still voted to give them $3.25 million and a $72 million tax abatement. And I'm hoping their conscience will kick in to not vote for historical Oak Park. So you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. So wherever you are at watching this, I want you to please again click like, share, and hit that screen for those likes. Just tap. And also, because I'm actually going to, you know, end kind of early today, because I will be headed over to Save Oak Park, asking that residents join me there and join the Friends of Oak Park there to help save this park. And so if you could also put the donate, if you can donate, we're asking that if you could donate to this to 810 News Media Group, which those funds go to basically just, you know, keep the place open, keep the power on, keep the internet on, you know, and to make sure we can do what we can to keep podcasts like these, keeping you aware of what's going on. You know, and I'm gonna tell you something, it's a whole different energy back. People were asking me, they were like, were you talking to Candace Machat? I said, she was talking. It was a whole different energy on Wednesday. She was very respectful, and you know, you respect me, I'm gonna respect you. She was very respectful. Whole different energy. It was different. I do appreciate Councilman Quincy Murphy stating about the ACO administrative consent order, which I guess I do need to hit on that today too, Mickey. I think I sent you the link to that one, but if you could, you know, hit that Cash App $810 News Media Group. We appreciate anything that you can give, $5, $10, $15. However, and Mickey, I know we have to get the address. Someone wanted to mail you a check. You never got. Yeah, because we got, you know, I guess this is, I have a lot of seniors out there, and if y'all watching, thank y'all for watching. So that's why I make sure I watch my mouth because I don't want them saying, "Oh my goodness, she uses so much profanity," because they be watching. I met someone at the church, and the head deacon, he said, "Me and my wife, we watch y'all." I watch you. And I was like, ooh, so I try to make sure I watch what I'm saying just to give them, what my opinion is, because sometimes those little video clips can come back to haunt you. Very few that I have, if I have cussed, it has generally not been in my words. I was repeating what someone else said because the fact that it has come out. It is a link to the ACO. Go back. No, go back up one more. No, I may. It was a no. And let me I send stuff on my iPad too, and I don't know, my iPad stuff don't hit the same time for some reason with you. It's always a delay. So the ACO order, the administrative consent order, and so actually it was the City of Flint website, and then to connect to that one, let me when they got up and spoke this week, and while I'm looking for this, I'm gonna give you the administrative consent order. Mick, if you can put this, and I think I put a time, is really important because that's our water distribution. So the administration came and spoke, and I'm gonna tell you, when they didn't have an answer, man, the answers was all over the place. Is this facility, is this project, and once they said it was completed, then they said it was not even started. Clyde was dancing around. He was on both sides of the Flint fence. I'm like, you want to know that if it's complete, if it's been started. So here's my thing. It was I didn't. I thought I had. 2:37, 2 hours 37, the ACO extension. And so it didn't come through on yours. It was and so when we were asking questions about all these projects and what are the projects, well, with the violations that the city has, it is so the findings were Eagle issued a significant deficiency violation notice in the city listing summary of the sanitary survey significant deficiencies, minor deficiencies and recommendations applicable to the city of Flint's water system. See attachment A. Y'all, this thing is big, and I'm not gonna even lie, it is big. And I don't know if we're not gonna have enough time because this just really needs to be all in one. So this one is mine. Yeah, I write all over my stuff because as I'm reading, I'm writing and I'm doing my notes, and then I'm calling people who are smarter than me about this, and so what is it that we're in violation of? Look, this is all these are pages of violations, and this is serious. I'm still front and back of violations, not just big violations. Listen, and I can still, so I'm because we're not going to have a lot of time. So it gets down to, as they were stating in council, did y'all start these projects? And I was like confused. Was you confused too, Mickey? Because some they were saying yes, and then some they said was completed, when in actuality they hadn't even started. So there's supposed to be $300 million worth of improvements. 100 million came from the wind funds, which they have stated that they're out of wind funds. And so they're submitting November and December's reimbursements. And then they said, the state threw 1.5 million at the city of Flint. And we got more than $1.5 million worth of work. But guess who in the company that's doing it? Guess where they at working now? Detroit. Detroit is expected to do 250 service line replacements per week. Now, of course, they are our biggest city. So the company that was doing ours here, which was W.T. Stevens, is a subcontractor for LGC Global, is in Detroit. So we don't even have a contractor here. So Mayor Dugan took a shot at Flint. He took a shot at Flint. Basically, we're not going to end up like Flint and not have our stuff done. That is basically what he said. And he mentioned Flint. And he's right. Because we were supposed to be raising funds, this administration, to make sure these projects are done. That has not happened. So if we take the wind funds would have been the $100 million. We don't know the balance of that. The state told me that it was gone. And so we're waiting for them to complete processing the reimbursements. So then we have so then we have the 200 million that's left. So it wouldn't have been 200 million because in 2019 there was a fund balance, and that fund balance was 24 million. So which would have reduced that down to 176. But when Mayor Neely got in, he took $10 million of the fund balance that was for the water distribution plan and upgrades that we needed to do. He took that money and started spending it. He gave a press release and said he found 24 million. No, you didn't, Mayor Neely. That was the fund balance that was set aside to pay for all these projects now that we're getting a violation. There was a requirement by the state for the city to self-fund a lot of their projects. And so that 24 million had been being set aside underneath former Mayor Karen Weaver. And so that fund balance, when he said on that, he gave his press, I found 24 million. They couldn't handle money because I found 24 million. You didn't find nothing. What you should find yourself in right now is in a lot of trouble because all these projects we don't have the money for. And at council meeting, Clyde wouldn't speak up. They asked him to speak up. He said, I can't. Well, guess whose name is on this? It comes from the state of Michigan. Clyde, you better quit signing all this stuff. It says the state of Michigan state of Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, Drinking Water and Environmental Health Division. It says in the matter of, and the name, it don't say the mayor. It says Clyde Edwards, city administrator. Clyde, I wouldn't be taking this. Your name is Mayor Neely name is not under this. Unless it's not on this document. So the mayor's administration, and it gets down to, how do we fund this? I'm gonna go skip to, I don't even know what page is in their front and back. All right. 8. It goes like page 16, I believe. They do the penalties. So the 200 million, which if we had kept that 24 million, the mayor took 10 million, used it for the pension to fund. And here's the thing, the pension, and you try to get a straight answer out of that. We were supposed to get 220 million, which is what was stated. Mayor Neely, I'm gonna give him, he good at a press conference. He is good at a press conference. He will press conference you in a hot minute, ball. Just like he press conference about them ambulance, and wasn't having one in the city for 24 hours at a time. And then that company went out of business. I think he got indicted, the person of that MedStat. He went out of business. But Mayor Neely was just standing with him 4 months before. And so what he did with this ACO, I'm gonna get to the penalties. So the penalties state, this is a 9.1, y'all. And it says, for each failure to comply with a provision combined in the section 3 of the consent order, the city of Flint stipulated penalty of $5,000 if after 30 days from the original deadline, the city has not fully corrected the violation, which y'all will not happen because some of these projects have not even been started, and we'll have no money. We don't have no money. There's no money. So from the deadline, the city has not fully, it says, if after 30 days from the original deadline, the city has not fully corrected the violation, the city shall pay stipulated penalties of $200 per violation per day for 1 to 7 days of violations, $300 per violation per day for 8 to 14 days of violation, and $500 per violation per day for each day of violation thereafter. Payments shall be made in accordance to paragraph 9.5. Did y'all just hear me say the wind funds is gone? The fund balance is gone. I mean, he went to that found 24 million that he didn't find, which was for this project that we don't have no money for it. So they went into executive session. I was out on my 30 days, which we're still waiting for Judge Piquel. I'm going to say that again, to give his decision. And so it gets down to 9.5. Now I'm gonna get back to what happens if Flint don't fix this. We can't fix this, and that's what's gonna happen. Guess what? The state takes over. I'm not voting to approve some. We don't have this money. If there's no wind funds, mayor spent the $24 million fund balance that he had in 2019 November and has not replaced or sought to get money for to pay for this. And here are some of the projects that are not done. We know that the Dort Reservoir, we know that there were lost records, the Tory Road one. We have got, I learned way more, and it's dark in here, y'all, but Mickey be telling me I'm right. They didn't do cross connections. They have got the Dort Reservoir and Booster pumping station. They have got Cedar Street Reservoir and pumping and Cedar Street and Booster pumping station. Tory Road, we have got record keeping, which is an issue. We got the distribution valves, which need to be checked all, and that's 3.5 on here. We got the bulk. We got the bulk chemical storage, which are some issues. We got the Northwest transmission. I'm not laughing because this is funny. I promise y'all. How we gonna pay for this? If I vote to approve this, I'm voting to say we're gonna pay for this. We can't. I voted to put a motion on the floor to extend this to suspend the rules so we can talk about it. So they voted no. They want to do only 5 minutes because, you know, for some reason, time. What is more important than this? Because they getting ready to raise water rates at least 30%. This is what this is. So as I'm going, and I can keep going on, the cross connections. We don't have the TMF report, which is technical, managerial, and financial. Are we hiring? Are we properly staffed? The answer's no. You know, have they hired the proper people? No, we don't have a DPW. Last DPW director we had was Mike Brown. He quit March 17, 2023, because he wasn't going to take responsibility for this. Front and back. He got down. What's that old song? Pack your grip. Taking you on a trip. Ain't no seats. What we can't beat is the ACO. So we got some problems. I'm not voting to pass this. So what happens? The administration has got to show us how are we going to fund this? Because if we don't, the state takes over our water fund. They take it over. So Mayor Neely has been in office since 2019. He can't use that as an excuse anymore. He needs to stop saying it's the past administration. Much as he is, you can't use that because Mayor Weaver left him a $24 million fund balance. She gave him a head start. She gave him a leg up. She gave him $24 million towards his $200 million. We were also supposed to do, and Clyde Edwards said, oh no, we weren't supposed to do $6 million in capital improvements a year. Yes, we are. We were supposed to. That hasn't happened. Clyde didn't have no answers to nothing. He had no answers to nothing. So what happens? Third rates are going to go up, at least they say 30%. It's according to the calculations. The state will, if we don't vote on this, the state will take over because we don't have no money to fund 200 million. And we know that the cost of doing projects went up over COVID, double, sometimes triple. So it was 200 million, then it's 400 million. Some of these projects, we don't even know. They haven't even put them out to bid. Boy, that Mr. Scott Dungy, who works at one of the plants, he just looked like, look, I'm just trying to keep my job. I don't want to answer no questions because I know people will seek retribution. We saw what happened to Mike Brown, and he got down and he left March 17, 2023. I felt he was scared, in my opinion. And that black man behind him said, look, I'm not jumping and answering anything. He never walked toward that podium. Did you notice that, Mickey? He walked up there. Brother man didn't say nothing. He wasn't volunteering to say nothing at all. So this ACO order is it needs to be a meeting for this because we can't pay for this. And not just that, they had on the ARPA they had the resolution for the ARPA funds for the trash going all the way back. That's the trash cans everybody wanted, which was a grant, but they're trying to marry the trash can recipients to the contract, the no bid contract that 5 of them voted on to give priority. It should have been put out to bid. I did not support that. I support the trash cans, but I do not support the no bid contract that they were given. Why? Because we were paying, they said approximately $9 million more for priority. We can't afford it. So what happens? You can't raise taxes in Flint even higher. So what they do is you're going to get a tax assessment. They're taking $2 million of the ARPA funds to balance the trash. And then Judy said, well, this has to be done. No, what should have been done is this should have went out to bid. We should have bidded out our trash, period. We should have. Now residents we're taking $2 million of the ARPA to balance it just for the next 2 years. Then there's supposed to be a $5 million deficit per year of their contract. We don't have any way to pay that. But they're voting to pay with ARPA, but then there are also some of them are voting to give their own organizations ARPA funds that they're affiliated with. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. So I said, I'm gonna get off of here. Mickey, y'all, you got to show up and support. I'm gonna leave with this. The 5 votes that it's going to take to save a historic Oak Park, we have to go after those 5 votes. Quincy Murphy said he had 5 votes. We have got to ask those 5 votes that he thinks he has to not vote on giving the historic Oak Park to Ashley Capital. In other words, work out agreement to have a community benefit agreement to save this park. He said he told them the people to save Oak Park. He had 5 votes. We need to ask and be going after those 5 votes to ask those people to not sell and vote to not sell Oak Park. The ACO order, administrative consent order. If we don't agree with it and vote yes, state takes over it. And I don't see how we're going to fund all these projects. Not when the fund balance that Mayor Neely was given in 2019, he had a balance of $24 million. He took that and paid the pension fund and started paying on that. And at that time, it was $346 million because we had more employees that were receiving a pension than employees that we actually had paying into the system. Flint was only then 26% funded. We were supposed to get $220 million. We only got $170 million. Mayor Neely said we're getting $220. We lost $50 million because whoever it was with the company that the lobbies had worked to get them said, we don't like this dude. We're backing out. So we didn't get the $50 million. We only got $170 million. So it's supposed to be funded at 60%. It should be funded at 100%. They like to see it at 90 to 100, but 100%, of course, is the best. That means that the people who retired, we can pay them pension. The people who showed up to work for the city of Flint, that they will be taken care of. And so he's playing this shell game with people. But when he came into office regarding his ACO order, he had the money to take care of it. He had the money to, or not to take care of the beginning part. And, as we talked with Melissa Mays, there's money in there to help people to pay. I think it was 35 million with the state. People, the city isn't asking for this money. And they're not. But we keep seeing campaign donations going into people. The focus is wrong. Their focus is wrong. It's wrong. So this ACO order, I don't know how you keep the state from taking it over, because we don't have the money for all these projects. We don't. And we were supposed to be self-funding it, and it was on the way to getting it done so that we can keep up with these infrastructure, these required updates to be done. It's not going to happen. So before I close, I want to thank everybody out there from Atlanta, from Texas, from North Carolina, from Dayton, Ohio, from Michigan, from the D, and from Flint, and from wherever you are at, Compton, California, Oklahoma, wherever you are at. I appreciate you taking your time to spend this Saturday morning with me, with talking with Tonya and sharing your views. I appreciate it. But if you're out there, if you can click like, share, donate, so we can continue this. As I have been educating myself on this, for the specifics, it's a lot of work. I mean, this is like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning work to understand it and read it. And as everyone is seeing, I'm not just, I'm reading, I'm reading and making my notes. So for me, it's very real. What's going on. How are we going to pay for this? I don't see it. And my colleagues should have more of an interest. And a lot of them are just brushing it off with no questions. No questions. And they were saying, well, kick it down. I believe Judy Priestley was saying she would say, well, it's kicking the can down the road. It's not the can, it's not the bucket. This is the barrel, or more like the train, a train caboose. This is, how do we pay for it? Anyways, if y'all could click like, share, still click like, share, and if you also to donate to 810 News Media Group, whatever is in your heart, so that we can keep podcasts like this coming on. I tried to start something, it's so much stuff happening in Flint that we get stuck on agendas. And what we do know is Flint is not unique, because the same stuff is happening over in Dalton, Illinois with the super mayor, where the FBI is there. And they are there. They didn't start subpoenaing her records, So we know that when people put their names up on signs, she was putting her name up on signs that were purchased by the city, and they got her on that. That's a violation. She got a Tahoe, which is $156,059 on the lease. I mean, people talking her jet setting to Vegas, and I mean, you name it. Her going after business owners and shutting them down. That has happened here, y'all. That has happened here. That business owners have been targeted. They have been, and there have been some things happening. And so, Flint is not unique. Look at Dalton, Illinois. Look at what's happening there. So listen, meet me at Oak Park. Everybody come to Oak Park. Support Save Historic Oak Park. It's going to be at 12 o'clock. So if you can hit that like button, we appreciate it, 810. It's just to keep the doors open and the rent paid. And I guess you can't put a tripod. So it's going to have to be a quad next. I don't know, because they did a resolution for a tripod, but they don't care about the ACO. They don't care about the administrative consent order, but they care about a damn tripod. They worried about the wrong stuff. This is something that is serious, very serious. I want to thank Joe Scapani and Johnny Fletcher. I'm sorry. I got Johnny Flores on mine, who does a lot of community work on the east side. So if he's watching, he is an activist and helps out. But Johnny Fletcher, who is the muralist and artist, he has a project on May 18th on Fenton Road by US 23. His project is 5 and 6. You can go to his page. And Joe Scapani, who was in Mexico, enjoying the 92-degree weather as it's cloudy and gray here. I want to thank them for coming on. And Mickey, I want to thank you today for keeping pace, because we also, it can kind of go a little left and right. and I haven't read any of the comments because I'm kind of crooked, y'all, and then my head got to go the opposite way and to look up on the screen because it is not ahead of me. It is not. And so maybe one day we can fix that, Mickey.
Anything possible.
And,
Just
or
not
maybe
today.
I need to be in that corner.
Basically, that's how we're gonna set it up.
That's how we're gonna set it up. Okay, so next time, look, y'all. I mean, is that like the timeout corner? That's wait a minute. That's gonna be like the timeout corner. But as I'm going over this ACO, everyone, and that'll be next week. Next week we're gonna get into it. With some of the prices of these projects are estimated. So we're going to get into that. So I'll be in the timeout corner next week so I can read everything that's coming up on here. But to every mother out here, whether you birthed a child, love the child, you're responsible for taking care of a young child that you were left in the care of, I want to say happy Mother's Day. This is Mother's Day weekend. To all of the mothers that are out there. And if people be like, well, what if I was a father and I raised? No, that's what Father's Day is for. I'm sorry. I'm just very old fashioned. Mother's Day is for the mothers. And then when Father's Day is for the fathers, even if we are single mothers, let's give the other dads out there who have been in their children's lives their respect. I'm very lucky that I did have. My children have got fathers. I don't have baby daddies. My children have fathers who were in their lives. But I want to say, and to my mother, and Shirley, and my Aunt Barbara, my Aunt Dorothy, and I can keep going on and on. I want to say happy Mother's Day to everyone out there who is a mother, who, whether you birthed a child, adopted a child, and care of a child, because mothers and women make the world go round. Women are an intricate part of us. And what I will be doing, people are like, well, what are you doing? My kids was like, well, what are you doing? Normally I say, I'm gonna have them get me the most expensive gift like they used to for their birthday and Christmas. All I'm doing is sleeping here, Mickey. I don't want to go out to dinner. I don't even want to talk to nobody on Mother's Day. I want to just lay in between my white sheets with the remote and watch. I just started watching Tubi, y'all. I never watched Tubi. But Tubi has the Vernon John story. If y'all haven't watched that, the Vernon John story, it is on Tubi, and it is what we're doing now. It still applies. He was before Dr. King. Yeah,
James.
Yeah, you saw it.
Yeah, I watched it back.
Yep. Listen, and they got a woman called the original before the movie called Here. They got a woman called Moses on there where Cicely Tyson plays part 1 and part 2. And I found one I had never seen this one. It's called, I think, The Freedom Trail, where Muhammad Ali, it was during Reconstruction. Muhammad Ali played in this one. Now his acting wasn't that good, but his boxing was the bomb back in the day. Okay. But the movie, I'm like, they got all these black movies showing history, and so Tubi, it's on Tubi, y'all, Tubi. So that's what I'm gonna be doing in some pajamas, drinking mimosas, and watching some Black history historical films. That's what I will be doing. And I'm gonna probably watch, some of Roots too, because Roots was back in the day. That was like, I remember watching that. We like, whoa, this is on TV. We sit in the family room and everybody we would watch. It was on channel 12 then. No, it was NBC. I remember. Listen, we watched it. Our family, we all watched it. So happy Mother's Day to everyone. And to Nikki, your significant other, I'm wishing Nikki a very happy Mother's Day also. And to everyone, I hope you have a beautiful and wonderful happy Mother's Day. If you're not busy now, head over to Oak Park, support the rally. And so, Mickey, I appreciate you today. All right. All right. Listen, y'all, peace, love, enjoy your weekend, and do something great for yourself and for others. Thanks.